Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your May forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see you. We're going to get straight into channeled messages. This morning, as I was tuning into your sign, what I saw was someone that really needed some time and space to focus. I saw interruptions. I even felt like it was difficult to concentrate, and this could be any number of things, from like just noise at home to a coworker that's talking too much, or maybe even just stress and other thoughts getting in the way of a task at hand. So for me personally, what I like to do is just change the environment if I can, move from one place to another. So if you're constantly working in the office and there are those distractions, maybe go to a cafe. If you're at home, maybe you go to a different room or you ask for a little bit of peace and quiet. Here's the thing, even with that, I noticed that there was some well-intentioned checking in on you, and that was also creating some frustration. So I really do think either finding an activity or a space where you can just be, and it didn't need to be a lot of time, it might just be like half an hour or something, to allow for clarity of thoughts, letting go of some stress, and getting something checked off the list. Because then you'll be more fully able to, deal with that person that needs your time. So boundaries are going to be vital, but I think it's not too much to ask sometimes for that little bit of space. You may have to get creative on how and where you carve it into your schedule. When I used to have a traditional job and I was busy writing my first book, I used to have to go to a cafe before or after my job, just in order to get some time and space and kind of keep myself accountable. So sometimes even when you're very busy, you can make it happen. And same thing with exercise. I would make sure a couple nights a week I would go straight from work to a yoga class, bring a change of clothes, and I wouldn't go home because I know if I went home, I wouldn't exercise or I wouldn't write. So I had to find another place to do what I needed to do. So there's a little bit of discipline, definitely some boundaries, and some creative approaches when it comes to, how, when, and where you're going to create that time for yourself. Let me see if there's anything else in my notes here that I was picking up on. I think for some of you, it could also be family. They're well-intentioned. They want to check in on you, but sometimes they don't understand, you just need 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes to finish up the task. And so that's why establishing guidelines, rules, or changing up the location is going to be really, really important. Those are the main messages in the channeled portion. Let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's coming through. This month, I'm changing things up a little bit. We're going to pull the main spread first, and then when we go into the expanded forecast, I'll do that a little bit later, and I'm going to organize it differently. I feel the call this month to change it up like I did on the weekly collective. Let's just see how it goes. Before we shuffle the cards, Mr. Apollo just joined us in the background and, as always, is holding some space for us to have this reading. Okay, let's begin. Please take a moment now to clear your mind of any thoughts that you might have brought into this reading. Imagine that you're sitting on a sunny beach, that you create a circle around you in the sand, and the sun shines into that circle, sealing that space so that you are safe and protected. Let's now invite in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters and see what's coming forth for this month. All right, let's begin here with your catalyst energy. I quite like this message. It says, I am the light in the world. The card, of course, came through in the reverse position. There's a couple of really key things to think about here. In order to be the light, you need to have a battery that is fully charged. And so all of the things that I was talking about in the mediumship and channeled messages really applies to this. If there are too many people in your life that are tapping at your energy, distracting you, maybe even blocking you from being able to rest or finish a task at hand, having boundaries is so essential. You have to say no, you have to speak up, create some space for yourself. This also kind of beckons back to over a decade ago. The first year that I did videos, I would close with an idea, a visual, that we were all collectively the lighthouses. And if each of us put in the work and kind of lightened up the world a little bit, it would be a brighter place. I think this is important now, 10 years later, to bring back. And your sign in particular got it. So think of the Hermit card. He's shrouded in darkness, but he holds a lantern. He's the light in the darkness. This month, you may have to spark someone's imagination, creativity, hope, and you're lighting a new path for them. How about this? Yes, we've always done it this way, but how about this? Or yes, I know a lot of people are saying or thinking this, but there's another way. So you're leading with light, you're leading with integrity. In order to do that, though, you have to take care of your mind, body, and spirit first. How powerful is it that your center card is all about achieving balance? But the scales are in reverse, so let's talk about it. So invariably, when I get this card, the first thing that comes through for me when I'm interpreting it is it's okay to speak up, it's okay to say no. Why? Because something may not be properly balanced. There may be an injustice. So if we take the face value of this, you may decide, you know what, I got to fight, I got to change, I need to make this happen and make this right. So if there's a contract in front of you in business and it isn't balanced, it's basically favoring one side over the other, you may decide to raise your hand and say, wait a second, we can't move forward with this. We have to create better balance. There could be someone in your life that said they were going to do something and didn't, and you're holding them, keeping them accountable, keeping yourself accountable. I talked about that earlier. And this is going to create better balance. And it's also just one thing that I'm so grateful to my father for. He was a very honest person. You could trust him with your key, your credit card, a secret. He didn't tell anybody anything. He was fiercely loyal and very, very honest. And so what I took from that is that, if you put that out into the world, it's something that if you show people that you have that level of honesty and integrity, it opens endless doors for you. So lead the way, show people how it's done, especially when they lack it. Say, here's how it's going to be done. Here's why it's going to be done. And unless you can kind of connect with that level of integrity, I'm not interested in this. It's even more powerful when you're fighting for someone else. So let's say you have a chance to step into a position, but it's at the cost of this person or this moral or this law or rule. You're like, no, I'll do it, but we need to make sure that everybody is not being hurt by this sort of like movement or this step in a new direction. So great leaders make sure that everyone around them is also lifted up. Everyone should be benefiting in the equation. There should be give and take, reciprocity, etc. So some powerful things coming through there, but I wanted to share those. You may simply need to let go of some stuff. There's too much on your plate. You want to balance out your, not just your budget, but how you're budgeting your time and energy. Are you getting a return on it? And if not, it's not enough. And if we look at the center, you can see there's a heart and a feather, hearkening back to mythology, where the soul was judged and the heart was weighed. And if the heart was light, you could go on to the afterlife. But we can just glean a little bit from that and say, do I leave a situation or a relationship or an activity feeling lighter or heavier energetically and emotionally and cognitively? If it's the heavier piece, that's an anchor, and it may not be what you need right now. If you're feeling inspired, curious, that fire that we see here, like the light is going on, more of that. So seek out those charging elements, those catalytic energies that kind of bring you this sense of, I'm alive and this is making a difference. Okay? And if there's something that you want to fight to balance out or bring into, better sort of reciprocity, by all means. Okay? Very powerful, very important. I would say we have a card here that normally represents speed, but it's on its side because it's crossing all of it. And it says, don't proceed until you have that sense that things are right. There's plenty of time later to catch up for any lost time. Knight of Swords is a quick moving card. We have the Eight of Wands just to the left of it too. So it feels like there's a lot to kind of get done, but the foundation needs to be firm. And until it is, don't proceed. Word travels quickly this month. So you could speak something into existence, an idea, and someone's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And you think to yourself, wow, I didn't think that could happen so quickly. So be prepared for things to happen at a more rapid clip than they have before. Make sure your life is in balance so that you can keep up. That's part of this too, okay? Don't let someone rush you into a document. So this is fast-paced. This is something that shouldn't be signed. If you don't understand all the fine print, if you don't feel comfortable, sleep on it. Ask for anybody that forces you to sign something without you understanding it. That's like a big red flag. That's the energy that we would associate with like devil, moon, etc. So just say no and get the information that you need. I like what I see in the deep past. This is what's fueling all of the forward momentum. Some of you have this really big idea or this sort of like inspiration and you want to go for it. It's in the deep past. You've done some work, you've done some thinking. Now is the time to bring it further. So this is a follow through card. So it's asking you, what are you doing to follow through on an idea, on a plan, on a goal? Do you need someone to help keep you accountable? And even if you haven't done anything, forgive yourself and just set a goal or intention now and say, but today I'm going to do this and tomorrow I'm going to do that. One of the themes of 2025, it's been hitting me over the past couple of months, is live in the now and look at the next and figure out how to affect tomorrow. We can't change the past. We can learn from it, we can grow from it, but we can't let it tether us. For you, the only sort of thing that you need to recalibrate on this month is, do I feel balanced? Do I feel protected? Does this feel like the foundation is right? Once that happens, things can start to move. All right, I do think you're going to have a busy month here. It's either happening or about to happen. So the Eight of Wands in the recent past represents, it's kind of, a lot of times you see rockets in the air. Here they have like arrows flung at this person. She's also kind of like pushing it back. She's like, I'm going to focus on this. I'm going, like right before this was the Seven of Wands. So remembering the skill and the importance of delegation, working smarter, not necessarily harder, and collaborating. There's a couple of decks where we can see that all of these wands are put into motion by others. So there's hidden support within this card. Look around, reach out, network. That's one of the things that you can really focus on this month so you don't feel alone, so that you're not feeling kind of lost in the shuffle. Also, the fact that this came through reverse when I pulled it can indicate that you may need to take a step to the side or take a step back and fix something, ostensibly that justice in reverse situation, before you move forward, so that you don't end up costing yourself time by making a mistake that incrementally builds upon itself. So be willing and ready to take a step back, shine a light on something, even if people don't want to see it, and they're saying, hey, we have a deadline, this is going to slow us up. You'll remind them that there'll be plenty of time later, and you want to be on the right side of things. You don't want to overlook something that could cost time, energy, money, or even be a safety risk or whatever. Take care of it now, okay? In the crowning position, we have Chariot energy. It's in the upright position, which is favorable, but we have two ox or bulls sort of in different directions. They're tugging at the leadership. So you may have two different people that are giving you conflicting messages. You may be conflicted on what the path is, what the next step is. There may simply be people coming into your life asking you, are you sure? There's some sort of a challenge just because of the way the animals are kind of tugging at the chariot. You're the one that's pulling the reins and leading the charge. So it's important to be able to deal with different points of view and to help align people that are kind of like at a fork in the road. Give them the priorities. Let them know why this and not that. Or let them know, yeah, we can deal with that, but at this time. First, this is what we have to manage, okay? So, and if someone asks you, have you considered this, and you didn't, you can simply say, wow, that's a great insight. Why don't we pause for a second? We'll see if it makes sense. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, then I just appreciate that you spoke up. But like entertain it, like at least listen. Because sometimes there could be someone that's trying to help you with that justice card at the center and say, hey, I think this is something that we've missed. So keep an open mind, lead with an open heart as well, and then once you've considered everything, move forward. There could just be someone in your own life saying, are you sure? Are you certain? And maybe you're just deciding to make an exciting leap in your life. You're going to get married or go to school or leave your job or move to another country. Whatever it is, hopefully you've given a lot of time to weigh the options And if you have, we see a movement card here in the near future, all you have to say is, absolutely, I'm certain I've done the work. But if you haven't done the work, do the work and look at both paths. Consider the opposite of what you might be doing right now and make sure that you're not moving too hastily, okay? In the near future, we have a very different Six of Swords. In this one, we kind of see all of the swords fixated or kind of like focused on what could either be like a laptop or a briefcase. I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking, but Six of Swords invariably is about moving something forward. So remember at the very beginning, I was saying, what are you doing to take this idea from the past and create some progress or some movement? If you don't know yet what you want to do, you could ask for some help. You could research. That's why when I was looking at that, the person may be deciding to just get a little more information. Part of that can be, hey, I need to take a trip. I need to visit some things and some places, go to a library or find some resources. And this card is about exploring. So that's why I said don't be afraid to explore the options in front of you before making a decision. Ultimately, we see movement in the near future. So things are starting to pick up. This card nicely marries to the Eight of Wands. So this is busy, but they are looking in different directions. So I think that you might be just multitasking a lot this month. You might be dealing with a lot of different people with different needs. And that, again, is part of the reason that you want to make sure that your needs are being met. There could be a really big move on the horizon for you, figuratively or literally. So you might be moving up at work. You might be graduating or retiring. You could be relocating. This isn't typically as big or unexpected as the world. It's more planned. So it feels like you're starting to take steps towards that goal, that dream, etc. Let's check in on you. I quite like what we have here. We have the Temperance Angel. I even enjoy the sort of additional word here of art. There is an art to being patient and to setting things into motion. And it's almost like we keep getting that snail on the Nine of Pentacles, or like, slower energy coming through, and it's saying slow and steady wins the race. The Temperance Angel, which came through in the upright position, she has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. She's testing the water first. How do I feel? What do I think? Then she moves. Typically behind this angel, there's a path. So before, again, boldly forging forward, you're going to take a couple of steps, see how you feel, take a couple more steps, and then eventually just go for it. So whatever time and sort of in meditation and research you need right now, it's absolutely important. This is also about moderation. Literally, temperance is about not going to extremes. So whatever you're deciding to begin, whether it's a new job, a new exercise, new routine, whatever it is you're changing up, first of all, good for you. But secondly, it doesn't have to all take effect, in 24 hours. Give yourself time to adjust. Let's look at the environment and see what's coming through here. Possibly love. So we've gotten a lot of knights. We have the Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands. Now we have the Knight of Cups. And we have the King of Cups coming up after this. But there could be a new friend, a new alliance, a new relationship kind of knocking figuratively on the door. And this is a great time for that networking, because I talked about this in the recent past. Eight of Wands it's going to be a lot easier to deal with all of this stuff if you have support. And you may have a couple people coming through. But if you're looking for love, or if you're looking to make a connection this month, this is a great time to put yourself out there. Even if you just want to have an important conversation or try to make an impact, this is about receptivity. People look at you and they're like, I want to be a part of that. So I like that we see the dolphin kind of hanging out here with the human. And this is the ability for you to be magnetic, for you to bring things in. Leadership is coming through in Hope, Spheres, and Opportunity, and it's one of my favorite leadership cards. The King of Cups is so creative. He goes with the flow. He's all about water. So if it feels right here, he's going to allow it to exist in his life. So follow your heart, listen to your intuition, show yourself. Don't be too coy. This is a time where you can express gratitude. You can express interest. You can show a little bit of your heart on your sleeve because the heart came through at the center. This is going to endear you to others. This is going to show that you are open. And when you're receptive and they're receptive, great things can happen. And we have like a knight and a king here. both in the same suit. So there could be a great friendship, great partnership, possibly love. And the knight, actually, I'm sorry, the king is holding a little crab there. Usually there you just see a fish, but I love that we actually see it could be a Cancer coming into your life that is ready to connect energetically or spiritually. But this is just a time where people are looking at you and your leadership qualities are coming through in a very positive way. Lead with kindness, lead with passion, be creative, be enthusiastic. These things can help attract things to you as well, bring synchronicities your way. In the outcome, we have one of only two sort of challenging cards this month, the Nine of Swords. The other one I would say is Justice Reversed, because you have to say no. And that's part of this. If you just feel overwhelmed, ask for help, speak up, speak out. And know that this is typically something that you build up to be worse than it is. We can even see that in this illustration. The swords are floating above, figments of her imagination or exaggerated by her thought. And really what's necessary is a good night's sleep, some rest, some focus, and that harkens back to what we talked about earlier, which is self-care. All right. As I said, we're going to change it up a little bit this month. Now we're going to focus on health, wealth, love, and destiny. I'll pull those cards and then we'll highlight it in a different way this month. All right, so let's go ahead and pull each of the categories and then we'll talk. All right, so the first card will be health. Then we're going to pull a card for wealth. Followed by love. And then destiny. All right, for health this month, we have the Arcturian light codes, and it says evolutionary downloads, recalling power sounds familiar, and future thinking also sounds familiar. So the healthiest thing you can do right now is something that provides a sense of inspiration or a sense of like, wow, I'm actually feeling emboldened, I'm feeling recharged. If something is counter to that, it's time to step away or it's time to limit how much you're putting into that. The future thinking portion is so powerful. Again, what can I do now? What can I do next? Don't beat yourself up on the past. Learn from it, but don't beat yourself up. And then the evolutionary downloads, realizing that you're a work in progress, that especially if there's something that you're trying to overcome physically, emotionally, that it takes time. So I want to pick like two focal points of this spread for health, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So we have stress management and mental health. I think that's the strongest card in the entire spread. And I was mentioning how sometimes we can make something out to be bigger than it needs to be. Taking one step at a time, changing up that environment, and leaning on the support of others can help. Getting better organized as well can also help. I think the other big challenge with respect to health is making sure that you are not overdoing anything. Working too much, exercising too much, eating or drinking too much, whatever it is, this represents a need to find better balance in your life. Slowing down long enough to do that, knowing that your stress will be alleviated when you feel healthier and you are taking care of yourself better. There also might be a change on the horizon, a change of environment, maybe even a move or some traveling. All of that seems advantageous. Let's move on now to the next category, which is wealth. So we have the Grace card coming forth here, and it says, Wise Woman of the Grove. Grace is hard. Being graceful is hard when there are challenges, and some of you are feeling that friction. How can I be graceful? How can I be graceful when I'm not being treated justly? How can I be graceful when there's always a tug of war at my decision-making progress or process? And also, how can I be graceful when I'm being pulled in 3 different directions? So it's by articulating and speaking up, asking questions. Is this necessary? Why are we doing this? No. Using your words in all of these categories are going to help you feel much better in the long run, okay? Now, just briefly looking at this, we're going to pick one card that pops out of the deck for each of the categories. So for those of you that currently have a job, I think the main thing here is, does it still factor into your happiness? The Justice card in reverse is saying, don't do something you don't agree with. And don't give so much that you feel like the battery is empty and you're exhausted. You've got to speak up in these sort of instances. It's about moving up, moving out, or moving onward. And if you have to move on, you have to move on. But for the rest of you, I think it's just articulating a no, and that's going to be helpful. For those of you that have your own company, it's important to have clear leadership, but also to listen. So empathy and clarity are the two things that really pop out here. And for many of you, also looking at how and where you can expand, but expand slowly, because I don't see a lot of pentacles. There are none. So you're going to have to look at resources. They could be just a little bit tighter this month. For those that are looking for work, looking outside of your geographical zone, it seems like this comes up almost all the time, but it is really coming up here in this month, and not allowing stress to get in the way of something wonderful, because we see here that you actually might have a couple options on the horizon. Networking is the number one thing that you want to focus on, and don't say yes to something if it doesn't feel right. Make sure that you are discerning when it comes to that contract. Students, you may just simply have too much on your plate this month. Make sure that you pull back a little bit. And you may be looking at opportunities that are at a different school, so transferring. There could be an internship or some sort of an opportunity where you have to travel for that. The main thing right now, though, is about mental health, so make sure that you're not pulled in too many directions. Retirees, one thing that I see kind of like bubbling up here, and we'll talk more in a moment, but it's relationships. There's a lot of great people coming in, and you might be deciding to focus just a little bit more on those core relationships in your life. Keeping busy is important, but there might be something that just isn't worth it anymore. And one of the great things about being retired is you've earned that opportunity to say no. So by all means, say no if you need to. Looking now at love and relationships, surprise, surprise, we have Ra coming through, and it's about power. This is a solar deity, so this is about your solar plexus. And I mentioned at the very top of this spread that one of the core challenges this month could be in power dynamics. So we'll start off with existing relationships. There's a sort of like, who's the boss? And it feels like one person wants to go in one direction, one wants to go in another. Where can the compromise exist this month? Can there be a little bit of both? Maybe it's time to let one person go in one direction and one to go in another. So you may be at a point where you're like, I think we've seen it to the end point. Otherwise, it's compromise. So you're either going to figure out how to give and take a little bit, or justice reverse can be separation or moving in a new path. If you're happy, though, I think this could just be, again, managing stress. You know, all of these nights can be children. There might be a larger family, a lot of different interruptions, going back to my channeled messages, and you have to create space or sometimes move yourself to a different location to get something done and then come back and rejoin the family, okay? If you're looking for love, there are options. There's a lot of water energy coming forth. The main thing here, if you're looking for love this month, is not to go too quickly. Temperance is saying take it one step at a time. Also make sure that in your own life, you're untethered. You may be pulling in someone, by the way, that has a partner still in the picture. You may be on the rebound after a divorce or separation. So take it slowly, please. Traveling could be really great in helping you meet people, and you could meet people even at a work event. So get out there and mix and mingle this month. There's a lot of chances to meet new people. All right, if you're single and happy, please take care of yourself this month. Create the balance that you need. And the biggest area where I see growth coming through is in work, personal development. Definitely a great month for that. Even though we're lacking the pentacles, I'm seeing the potential to take things to the next level. All right, let's take a look at destiny. For destiny, we have the owl spirit, and it's all about wisdom. So in this month, it's really important for you to ask yourself, does this make sense? Am I doing something that resonates on a heart and soul level? If so, perfect, proceed, absolutely. If not, then trust the inner wisdom, trust the insight and the intuitive downloads. I'm adding something new this month since I changed the flow. It's what you need to know. So let's look at what you need to know, and then you can ask me a question, and then we'll wrap up. So I'm giving the cards a shuffle. Here's what Spirit says you need to know in this moment in time. All right, what you need to know is there could be some challenges around honesty and integrity. So there could be people in your life that just aren't ready. They're not ready to step up and be accountable. They make a promise, they don't keep it. You have to pay attention to the frequency with which they do this, and if it's a constant thing, it might be time to move in a new direction. If it's a one-time thing, see what's going on with them and let them know, because of that Justice card, that this isn't something that you want to see repeated. You have to deal with Seven of Swords when it comes through. Sometimes it can be the little voice that says, oh, don't worry about this. Procrastination. It could be someone in your life, again, trying to get you to do something that isn't right. We want to pay attention to this and say no. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. All right. Now, this is your chance to ask one last question. Anything that you still need some clarity on, let's see what Spirit has to say. It's a positive card here. So this would be a yes to a yes or no. The challenge is that you might have to juggle. This is something we talked about quite a bit this month. So if you're willing to juggle and willing to do a couple of things at once, then great. The other thing here is that it's happening now. There is a sort of imminent energy to possibilities this month. And I think this is a really nice thing to kind of leave you with. So things could happen sooner than you think. I mentioned this Knight of Swords can happen lickety-split, right? Like right now. So be ready for something positive to shift in your life. That's why if there's something that is more in that energy of Seven of Swords or the Justice card in reverse, you don't have time for that. You don't even have time for the unnecessary stress. There's too many positive cards this month, and I really hope that you're ready for that Three of Wands opportunity. This is another one that is connected to travel. We talked about that a little bit with the Six of Swords. So with the Three of Wands, usually they're looking at ships coming in. So you might be looking at different places for this dream, this goal, this aspiration to happen. So be open to that as well. All right, folks, that was everything for today. If you enjoyed this, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. And you can also give me a follow on social media. Leave a comment below too. Let me know what resonated, what you liked, what you didn't. And also if you want to give back, I would love for you to do that in the form of super stickers, super chat, and also through memberships, because I've started to do more members only videos. Remember, I don't offer any private readings or use direct messages. If you ever need more information about me, you can go to my website. And that's everything for today. Sending you lots of love and light. Remember what we talked about, speaking of the light. This is your chance to lead the way. The Hermit card, interestingly enough, is very sort of like closed off. And so coming out of your shell and allowing for these ideas, for this positivity, for this enthusiasm right now, it could be a little bit of a challenge, but I think that's when things start to get exciting. Let's see if Apollo is behind me. I think I can hear him. We'll wrap up with a little pat on his head. Yes, he is. All right. Hey, buddy. Thanks for being the best dog ever. Yes, good boy. Yes, you are. Thank you. Good boy. All right, folks. Thanks again. Have a great night and a great day ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.